back to the Dairy Raid, and next up in our transfer portal spotlight is Mark Hamper, wide receiver coming in from Idaho. And in contrast to Jaden Ballard in our last video, this is a player who's coming in with not only potential coming up from a lower level to a higher level, but comes in with production. As a redshirt freshman, he had 49 catches, 6 touchdowns, over 900 yards in a playoff caliber FCS school in Idaho. If you look at him, and I don't normally look back at high school stuff, but if you look, coming out of high school, he was a consensus 3-star, low 3-star. If you compare him to players in the current Badgers class, he is in the Drayden Pavey, Luke Emmerich, Samuel Leteju level. But being from Oregon, which is not a state that produces a ton of high-level players, despite being the number 6 rated prospect in the state, he only had one FBS offer, and that was to Air Force. He came in as an athlete. And they found some really nice, interesting ways to use him at Idaho, and he was productive when he was given that opportunity. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. I'm going to break this up into different categories. We're going to take a look at him, all aspects of his game, from screens to RPOs, quick game, intermediate, targets downfield, and hopefully see if we can get a pretty good picture of what Mark Hamper is as a total receiver and what he brings to Madison with 3 years of eligibility left. That is also key. So let's take a look at it. And we're going to start here just with some clips of how he was used in the screen game. I think this is a great way to show you what kind of athlete he is, because we're going to see him get the ball in tight spaces and his ability to accelerate and make plays after the catch. So let's take a look here. Starting out here, this little power shovel that we see on this first clip, they ran a lot with him at Idaho doing this. So it's almost like a wing T counter play. And you just kind of look at the feet. He's got really quick feet and sneaky athleticism, Like seeing his ability to accelerate and get vertical, make a cut, get vertical. Next up, got another example. Okay, just a little quick screen, top of the screen. And again, acceleration. Tight space, get vertical, and get going. Give him the space. Let the lineman get out in front. Mark does the rest. Taking a motion out of the backfield this time. Again, going to run a little jailbreak screen. And again, acceleration. Finding the soft spot and then running through it. Really like seeing. And here, just a little Texas screen. I like this. I'm stealing this one. So release the interior 3, catch the ball underneath on a little Texas route with him being in the backfield and accelerating upfield. All right, so next up, let's take a look at Mark in the quick game. And I know people are going to be saying throughout any clip I show of these players playing at a lower level that, they're excelling at a lower level. That doesn't say much. Well, I'm going to make sure that I highlight his 3 catches for against Oregon because, no offense, but Mark in one game by himself was more productive against Oregon than Will Pauling, CJ Williams, and Treshka Kahuna were against Oregon combined. So when he plays against big-time programs, he does well. And Idaho put a pretty good game against Oregon. So, all right. But next up, we're going to take a look at Mark in the quick game. So we're going to be looking at hitches, slants, getting the ball in space quickly, and then more importantly, I want to see what he does after the catch. So here, just running a little under route where the tight end clears, get underneath, just catch the ball. Nothing earth-shattering here. All right, catch the ball. 7-yard gain. We'll take it. Again, right there, that's more yards than Will Pauling and CJ Williams had. Next up. Hey, just running a little delay. Kind of a feeler stick route. Catch, but what I like seeing, acceleration out of the cut, and you can tell that this kid played defense, he played linebacker, he played safety in high school, because for a wide receiver, he is not afraid of contact. Putting the shoulder down and taking on a safety. I like seeing that. Intangible little things that you can pick up from this film. All right, next up. Another thing I want everyone to be paying attention to is how, in all these clips, is how many different places they put him on the field, different ways that they use him. So here, just a little out. All right, again, sneaky athleticism. Quick, and nice feet, and then acceleration. Okay, this is a different kind of footwork than comparison to Jaden Ballard. Ballard looked like he took 3 long strides and he went going. Here, the time space between each step by Mark is just really fast. He gets a lot of steps to the ground and he gets up to speed quickly. And again, he's a tough runner for a wide receiver. Really like seeing that. All right, next up, wide receiver at the top of the screen. An empty set. Hey, a little spot route. Again, fighting for the extra yards. Not just taking the catch and going down. He's taking the catch and he's thinking, I want to split these 2 defenders. I want to split the linebacker in the corner and fight. All right, this time we're going to use him in motion. And then catch. It's kind of fun to see a receiver who has a tendency to not go down with the first hit. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but being able to catch a quick ball and then get a few extra yards because of toughness. I really like that. And yeah, all right, brings us back up to the top. That's Mark. A quick shot of him in the quick game. Now let's take a look at him catching the ball a little bit more downfield. All right, so we're going to push the ball downfield a little bit more on these routes. What we're looking for here is the ability to find space in the coverage and being able to track the ball downfield. So let's take a look. Again, against Oregon. All right, going to run a deep crosser here. Ball out in front of him. Pretty good concentration. It's a long way to track the ball, especially in a situation where it's a little thing. But when he's looking back for the football here, it's going to be hard for him to find the quarterback. But nice catch. Extending for the ball. Getting some space. Maybe could have stayed on his feet and gained a couple extra yards after the catch, but we're not going to complain. Good catch. All right, next up, again running a dig here. A little underthrown. He's got to come back for the ball a little bit, but securing the catch. Foot in the ground. Square off. Come downhill when the ball is thrown behind him. All right, next up. Looks like we got him in the slot here. Gonna run the deep out. And if I could talk clearly, I want to highlight reps like this where he's fighting for extra yards. It would have been real simple for him to just go down here. But he fought for an extra yard. I love that in his game. Speaking of that, take a look at this one right here. That's running a little glance, little slant, catch. 2, 3, 4. The entire Eastern Washington defense is needed to finally take him down. This is the hardest fought 15-yard gain you're going to see. Love it. And last one here against Portland State. Again, same kind of route. Curl, create space, catch. And just being an athlete. Being a strong athlete. And barely even goes down. All right, so really great to see. He's a fighter. He's a guy that I think is going to be able to get us some tough yards. More importantly, is going to get us tough first downs by extending plays beyond the catch. So next up, let's air it out. Let's take the ball deep and let's see Idaho really push Mark downfield and see what he brings to the passing game for the Badgers downfield. All right, so let's take a look at Mark working the ball downfield a little bit more. So to make sure it doesn't seem like I'm only cherry picking the highlights, let's take a little bit of look at a little bit of a low light here. And again, he could help himself by having better field awareness here. Now, slot fade to the short side of the field. I don't necessarily agree with the play call here because it doesn't give him much room to work with, especially because they're trying to give the bluff that they're running the quick screen, but he takes it way too wide. Way too wide. He's got to cut right there and get vertical, bend it a little bit back towards the numbers to create space. Like he can bluff it right there and then run right up the numbers. Instead, he takes it too far to the sideline and the Oregon corner makes a hell of a play on the ball. On a not very good throw. I mean, it's some pretty terrible throwing mechanics by the quarterback there, but again, Mark doesn't help himself there. That being said, against Oregon later in the same game, gonna put him in motion. Gonna take off on the corner, being physical. A little bit of a push off maybe, but tracking the ball, getting the hands back, and then coming down with the catch and taking the big hit off the ground. His bell had to have been rung a little bit after that catch. Nice job. All right, next up here against Wyoming. On the deep bender here, going to bring it inside the hash mark, then back out. That's a long throw. Concentration. I like that he's trying to get both feet down, aim for 2 so you can get the minimum, which is 1. Great concentration here, right in front of the bench. Next up, against Albany. All right, it's just running up the seam here. Finding space. A little bit of a hospital throw here by the QB. But catch. Fight for a little bit extra yards. We'll take it. Okay, next up against UC Davis. Again, running that bender back to the sideline. Concentration. 2 feet. I have a feeling he's going to turn into like a Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type of guy. Reliable hands all over the field. Good concentration. All right, next up. Against Northern Arizona, I believe. Again, same route. They love this little bender corner. And again, just a fight. It was real easy for him to catch this and just step out of bounds. But the extra 2 yards at the end of this play are more important than his body. Really like seeing that. All right, so that brings us back up to the top. And I think we're going to call it there for Mark Hamper. I like a lot of what I'm seeing here. And the knock is going to be that he did it at a lower level. But I push back on that idea because what about high school kids? High school is even lower level than this. Yet we expect what we see, how they perform in high school, to directly translate to be directly on the field for the Badgers. How many true freshmen do we base our opinion on them solely based on their high school film? But having a guy who spent 2 seasons playing college football and 1 season being a real focal point of their offense, getting a lot of reps, that's somehow a bad thing? Where he's taken the production that he did at the high school level and bumped it up a level and still been productive? That's somehow a bad thing? I don't know. With the way college football is going now, the lower levels are the new JUCO. And I like that he's played football and that I have a lot of film here, a lot of reps. You know, he was a full-time starter. I could go through here and look at everything from blocking to the run game, special teams, whatever. I could find it here on him, and I could see him playing football. And I can see him succeeding against teams like Oregon. So I don't know how that can be seen as a bad thing. But we'll just have to see once he gets on the field here in spring ball and see if what is shown here on the film at Idaho translates to the Big Ten. I think he did okay in his first shot in the Big Ten anyways. All right, so that's Mark Hamper. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.